This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, good morning. Okay, so before we start with the new topic, and before some other folks join, so let's see if anybody has any questions. So did you all work on that project, US Superstore and Too Big to Fail? So anybody has any questions on these? So yesterday we have looked at, okay, once you create all those sheets, how do we bring those sheets together and create a dashboard? You will, create a dashboard, drag those sheets and do the alignment, do the fitting part, select the floating and do all that stuff, right? So anyone did that? Yes, Venkat, Shrinu, Shivanand, Naveen, Paramesh, Anurag, Anusha. Okay, so one question we have is how do we have that dual access? Okay, so once you are in this dashboard, you have all these sheets, right? Now, let's say you want to go back to one of the sheet. Let's say I want to go back to this sheet. See, whenever you select any sheet, the sheet would get selected on the left. If I select this table, it is selecting that sheet. Now, if I want to go to this sheet, so don't have to search manually. So select it, and then if you go here, there is an icon. Go to sheet, click on it, so it will directly jump there. Now, once you drag these two things, ideally it will be like this, and there are two numeric columns, sum of metric 1, sum of metric 2. So sum of metric 1, I'm saying okay, select bar, display it as bar. The other column, display it as line. So these two settings you have to do. Then after that, these are the two different charts. Like one is bar is at the top, line is at the bottom. Now we want to merge them together. We want to have a dual axis, how we have it in Excel. So click on this arrow and select dual axis. If you do that, you will see these options. Got it? So anyone worked on Too Big to Fail, the other project as well? Too Big to Fail. Yes, so how many of you are still working? If you can tell in the chat window. How many of you are still working on Superstore and Too Big to Fail? Okay. Okay, Srinu is working on it. Okay, so please try to work on it, um, because on this Friday I'll be giving couple of more projects. So otherwise, there will be a lot of lag if you fall behind, right? So please spend some time. It will not take much time. Spend just half an hour on working on those, and it should be done, I guess. Okay, yeah. You can also plan for this weekend for spending some extra time to complete these projects. Okay, so let me go here. Now, today, We will be learning couple of new topics, that is formatting. Okay, is there a question? Can I download the data shared in project in my desktop? Yeah, you mean to say this data, right? So right click on it and do export data to CSV. Okay, right click on it and export data to CSV. Now, the topic is formatting your visualization. So once you build your charts, let's say you have created a table, in Excel, if we do that, we do some formatting, right? We give some background color to the column headers. We give the borders to the table. We change the font size, font color if it is required, right? Now, how do we do that formatting? Because we want to make those visualizations more appealing, right? By giving the color, the formatting to the charts. So we will look at that, what are those options. Then we will talk about the actions. So this is very important concept in Tableau. So I'll show you like what is that actions. Now let me go here. Let's say this is the table which you have created. Now, how do we do the formatting stuff? Now, if I click on this supplier, you'll always find, you click on any of the column, and if you want to do anything, you will find this format option. Okay. Now, if you click on any of the numeric columns, you would also see the format. But on the numeric columns, the formatting is, yesterday someone was asking, okay, how do we do the decimal? So if you go here, number custom, if you don't want decimal, look at the table behind. If I'm removing the decimal, it will be rounding off. If I want one decimal or two decimal, or if you want, the currency or some kind of a percentage, we can do that. So just remember, so if you're working on any numeric column, if you want to do formatting on the data, like rounding off and all that, you can do by clicking on the arrow and selecting format. Now, let me click on this and do format. At the left hand side, you will see this format supplier. Okay, there is a question, but what is this? Okay, Shiva. Okay, Shiva, I'll come to that, your question, okay, at the end. Okay, on the left hand side, you see this format supplier. So this is the section, this window allows us to do the formatting. And how do I get that? Click on the arrow and select the format. Now, what are these options at the top? Now, if I click, take the mouse over, it says font. That means anything related to font type, like should it be Arial or Times New Roman? What should be the font size, the font color, etc., can be done by using this option. Second option is alignment. So if you want to do a left alignment or a right alignment or a center alignment, something related to alignment, if you want to align the things properly, that can be achieved by using these options. So when I select these, you see the options are changing here. When I select these, the options are changing here. Okay. Now the third option talks about the shading. So shading in the sense, change, looking at the background, changing the background of the column headers or the data, right? That is what the shading is about, choosing the right colors for the background. Now the fourth option is borders. So we want to have the borders how we have it in the Excel also, the thickness of the borders, right? We want to have the borders or not, outer borders or inner borders, what kind of borders we want. We can do that from here. This option is, different lines, the thickness which I was talking about. Now, if I go here and, on the worksheet level, on the entire worksheet level, I want to select the color as, black. See, previously it was like this, a lighter color, but whatever I create, it should have the black color. So that means on the worksheet, on the entire worksheet, what I'm doing, I'm setting few things like, okay, this is the color I want, and I want the font size as 9, right? Now, if I go to the alignment section, you see these things. If you want to do the alignment to right or center or left, right, we can take a call on that. Now on the shading part, you can do the shading at the entire worksheet level, the entire worksheet level, but that doesn't look good. So what we will do is, let's go and select, you see this, the coloring has changed. But the font, see, the font is also impacting because it's a black, the font is not getting visible. You see, I've selected a different color here. Now let me go and select few things. So there are a lot of options. Sometimes it gets difficult, but you have to choose the different options and see, okay, what is changing on the visualization. So if I selected header, header means the column names at the top. I've selected that and selected the color. Now, if I go to the supplier again and say format, select this as well, right? And the font, I want it as white and bold. So let me make it bold only. You can do all these changes. Now I'll go to format. Now I want some kind of borders here to the entire sheet. So you want to do, see, always you will find these three options, sheet, row, and column. You want to do it at the sheet level, or for each and every row level you want it, or the column level you want it. Let's select sheet level. And when you go to the borders, the borders have different options. You can select, okay, what is the thickness of it? It should be the plain line or a dotted line, right? How much would be the thickness of it? Now, if I select this, like this, you see the borders getting added, but it's not complete. We need to select, a lot of options. So select this, select like this. Now in the header as well, see these options. The row divider, see. So the row divider is, at the end of the table, you want, this one also to be closed properly. So this looks good, right? So if you want to do the formatting, these are the options which are available. Yeah. Now let me go and open. Let me go and open. So on these formatting stuff, there is a project. So let me walk through the project, what you're supposed to do. Then you will be comfortable, in choosing those options. Okay. Now let me go here. So this is the dashboard which we want to create. So if I go to the presentation mode, we are trying to create a CV in Tableau instead of how do we have it in the Word document. you know can we create a similar kind of a stuff in the Tableau itself? Now, this is the name of the candidate, the mobile and address, email ID, the objective, timeline, technical skills, along with their experience. We want to do this stuff. Now I am in the dashboard. How do we identify the dashboard? Whenever you don't see any dimensions, measures, rows, columns, and you see the sheet section here, that means this is the dashboard. And how many sheets are there? Timeline and technical skills. But where are those timeline and technical? I'm not able to see it. Right click on it and you say unhide all sheets. Those two sheets would get visible. Okay. Now, what I want everyone to do is, this is an assignment, but just look at what you are supposed to do. Okay. Now I'm going to the new dashboard. As I said, we want to make it as automatic at the very first go, and we don't want to make it as style because it doesn't give the flexibility to drag and arrange freely. I would say floating. Now you want to look at this and start recreating it here. Now what do? We want to add some text on the dashboard. So if you take any dashboard and if you want to add a text, how do we do that? On the left hand side under objects, there are some options here, text. So I will drag this text and let's say name of the candidate. I'll do OK. And where is it aligned? So you are putting it here. Now this doesn't look like the one which we want. It is formatted. Now how do we do the formatting stuff? You select this. You can either double click or you can do edit text. It will open the same. If you double click also, it will be open same window. Select this and you decide on the font size. You decide on the font color. It should be bold. Do OK. Right, but still the font should be higher. But this is how you will do it. Now again, you will insert another one. But what I want is don't go and start typing each and everything from the original one. Copy it, copy the text, and then you drag it and paste it. So don't spend time on writing those things. Our objective is to learn where are those options and how to do it. If I want to insert a text, if I want to do the formatting, and how do we align the things. Let's say I'll put here. I'll go here. This is my objective. I'll go and select this on the dashboard. I'll go and drag the text, put it here, and do OK. But we have to do the alignment stuff. So I'll go here and I'll drag, but it has a lot of additional space. Why do we need that much space? So what we do, if you click on, see, if I click on this outside, we have not selected anything. But if I want to select this section, I'll click on it. You'll see those borders. Take the mouse over those borders, you would see this arrows. Just minimize it. I feel okay, this much is good. Just minimize it. On the similar way, you will drag. But these are the two sheets, okay? The below ones, you see if you click on it, below one is a timeline. So what you do is go to timeline. You want to build this similar sheet. Now how do we do it? Right click, new worksheet, and let's say you call this as timeline. If Pooja is working, she will say, okay, timeline Pooja. So by looking at this, try to replicate the same. On the similar way, there is another sheet, technical skills. By looking at this, try to replicate in it. So if you go to the dashboard, you will be having two more sheets of yours. Just like how we have the new timeline sheet, you would have two more sheets. Drag those two sheets here. These are the two ones. Now, what is new in this is now if I go to the work experience, you will drag this text. You will drag this entire text. You will these are the texts. You will do that. Now, how do we add these images and how do we make them as hyperlink? That is the new thing which we'll be looking at. Now, on this object section, how you drag text, there are also options for images. See, if you go here, you have to find for that image. So let's say, let me see where do we have those images. Where do we have? Now, under image section, let's say capital one, and I'm taking the mouse to the border and you can minimize it. So capital one will drag here. Now this is not a hyperlink, nothing is happening, right? So now right click on it and say set URL. Let's say you want to give, I'm not sure what is the site URL, but let me try this, capital one. Now if you take the mouse, you see that hand icon that become a hyperlink. If you click on it, now it will open up the website which you have entered. I think, yeah, it's correct. So it is pointing to the website of Capital One Bank. If someone wants to, just click on those information and try to, go it instead of they go and search it in the Google, okay, to find more information on Capital One, we can give a hyperlink. Okay. Now, how do we get the images? Is there are already images. Once you download this dashboard from the Google Drive. So where do we find it? These things in the project section. I have not uploaded it. I'll do that. You will download it, but how do we get these images? Is go to the original dashboard, right click on it, and say pick image. So it will be there somewhere in your temp folders. You will see these options. Now just copy the link. You want to go where the images are. Just copy the link, then go here and drag and paste it here and then select it. Got it? That is one option. If you don't get that, you can also download these images from the Google. So just go to Google's images and type capital one and you will see, not the same or maybe different logo. You can download that image and drag it here. Understood? How do we put the image and the hyperlink on top of it? This is how you will drag this, you will drag this. All these are the text which you know, and how to align and how to do the formatting you are already aware. So this is what you have to do it in this My Resume dashboard. So few things you will get comfortable with is working on this text, aligning the text, doing the formatting stuff, putting the images, putting the hyperlinks, enhancing, basically enhancing your visualizations. This is one part of it. Any questions on this? What you're supposed to do? Are you clear? So you can right click on any of the object, any of the section, and you will also find format text object. You will see some alignment related options. So always go and, whatever you have, right click on it. If you want to do any formatting, you will see those format options. That is one option. Another option is there is a format menu at the top. So if I go back to the previous one, where I was building this, right? So how did I show the previous option is you can click on the one which you are trying to format and you would see this format option. That is one. Another thing is go to the format menu and you would see these options. So if I say font, you see you will get the similar options window. Yeah, sometimes if you don't get it through this arrow, just go and do this format and you would see all these different formatting options. Just remember that. Okay. See, like whatever formatting I have done in the sheet, it gets reflected on the dashboard. So what I did the changes onto the sheet where I developed that table. Automatically on the dashboard, it is getting visible. Now, the next thing is let us talk about actions. Now, sometimes we get requirements. Um, the data which we are looking at is at the aggregated level, right? So does it give this is for all the suppliers, this discount related information. This is for all the segments aggregated, right? This is by region. Now, sometimes the requirements are such that they want to look at all this information by each supplier. So this table is just an example. So just have a look at this. So what does that mean is this table shows how is the discount by each of the supplier, and we can also look at by customer segment, we can look at by states, we can look at by regions, etc. But what if I am interested in this supplier, the supplier is Sony. So if I select this, all these charts all these charts should get filtered out based on this selection here. I repeat, whenever we select any of the row on the chart itself, on the visualization, all the other charts should get filtered out for that supplier. Now here the actions comes in. So this concept, entire concept is called actions or drill downs. You can use the word drill downs because I want to drill down to the minute level. Okay, I'm not looking at the aggregate level. Okay, but this is good. But if I want to, drill down to specific thing, then we can do it. So these kinds of requirement come. Let's say you have plotted different tables and maps for country, but within that country how is the population numbers and all that, which state, which city, all those numbers would be aggregated, right? But if I want to do the drill down, okay, if I select um, country, the other table should also select the states within that country. If I select a particular state, it should show the all the city's information. If I select a particular city, it should show the data only for that city. So whenever you want to have, these kind of a drill down, we will use those actions. Now, how do we do that? So there are two methods for creating those actions. One is, okay, click on this arrow and say use as filter. I repeat, I'll click on this table and select and use as filter. Now I'll go to the presentation mode. Now have a look at these numbers, okay? Have a look at these numbers: 162.2 small business, 164.6, this is 300, and this is 200. Now if I select any of the supplier, let's look at the number, okay, on here. Also, it has changed all the other charts. If I look at, any other supplier, let's say, let me select the other supplier. So based on the selection on the table, all the charts on this dashboard are getting filtered out for that supplier. Now, why did I choose uh, this table as use as filter? It depends on the requirement, because I wanted, all these charts should get filtered based on the selection on this table. That's why I selected this table and said use as filter. Yeah, see, we can select multiple suppliers also. There was a question if we can select multiple options. Yes, we can do that. But we have to press control and do it, okay? Because if you just select any other value, it will unselect the previous one. Select control from the keyboard and select whatever you want. Isn't this cool? Now, someone might ask, there is a concept of a filter also, right? I can give this supplier as a filter. On the right hand side, we will see those checkboxes or radio buttons. If we select a particular supplier, the data would change for that, right? Now, what is the difference between a filter and an action? Anyone, any guesses? Got my point. What I'm saying is this supplier, I can show it as a filter. How do we do that? We go here. Where is that column? See, this is a supplier. We go here and do show as filter, and the supplier names would come. You select any of the supplier and the data would get changed accordingly, right? But what is the difference between a filter and an action? What do you think? Yes, give it a try, give it a try. Okay, this filter action will apply all the dashboard. Action is applied. No, but filter will also be applied onto the dashboard, right? If I drag this sheet again, it will also show me the supplier filter, those checkboxes. So even the filter would also apply to the dashboard. Now, what is the difference is, the filters, you have to go and select which supplier you want. But here, user, the table would be there. They just have to, go and click on the table itself. So imagine a situation like, okay, they're interested in this Sony. They have identified, okay, I want to filter this Sony. They'll go to that filter and select Sony as a supplier. Then only the other charts would filter out. But here, you know, on the table itself, they're clicking on it and the action is performing. So instead of going and selecting on the filter what we want, on the chart itself we are selecting it, and the other charts are getting filled. That is the difference. Now this is one option. But sometimes there are some complex requirement also. So you select a particular supplier. Now all this information shows for Sony supplier. Yeah, so the question is, okay, so the difference between the actions and the filters is when you do a filters on the right hand side, you would see the filter section. Now, if imagine there was no concept of this funda, action funda. Now, you want Sony, you looked at, okay, the discount or sales, whatever the profit is, 0.86 percentage. Now, all these are at the aggregated level. Now, you want, okay, you focused on, okay, I want to look at the data only for Sony. You will go to that filter, and out of all those suppliers, you select only Sony. Then it will get filtered out. That is the funda of filters. Now, what is these actions? You don't have to go and select those filters on the chart itself because it happens, right? Users are, interested in looking at this, and they are interested in looking at particular thing on the chart itself. They will click and they expect other things should get filtered out based on my selection. They would say, okay, I will not go and select the filters separately. I am here on this table, I am interested in this. I'll just go and select this cell. That means this supplier, other chart should get filtered accordingly. Understood the difference between both? Okay, so from actions we can filter out from the chart itself. Yes, yes, yes. So actions are meant for to do the drill downs from charts to charts. Like on the chart itself, you click it, something is happening, filtering out. But filter section, is a separate thing where we have to go and manually select, and it'll get changed. Now this is one method. Another method is, okay, they also, sometimes we get requirements. If we select this supplier, okay, this is for segment of each and every these are the different customer segments for Sony, and these are the departments, these are the different states. Now, if I want, all these charts should only be displayed for corporate. That means I want an action to be performed on this customer segment also. How you selected supplier? I want to only look at consumer segment. I only want to look at home office. I only want to look at corporate. All the other sheets should get filtered out accordingly. Now, there is a different method of accomplishing a complex task. Yeah, what is the question? Yeah, even if you apply the filters also, it will change. It will change all the sheets because you are deriving it from the same data only, right? The data is same. So if you show a filter here, so let's say filters supplier. Okay. Now I'm showing the supplier on the right hand side, imagine. Now if I unselect everything, it is only changing the supplier. Now we can also, why it is changing only supplier? Because this filter is coming from this sheet, isn't it? That table sheet. If I go back, it is coming from this sheet. Now If I want that to be applied to everything, you would say apply to worksheets, and you can select which sheets you want. So these are all the different sheets which are there. Which sheets you want that to change. I've selected. So what did I do? I clicked on this. Apply this filter basically needs to apply to which all sheets. All these are the sheets, right? I've selected apply to worksheets, selected worksheets, and I've selected which sheets. Then did OK. Now if I select unselect, see everything is gone. Now if I'm interested in Sony, it is only showing from, but look at this table. This table is not showing all the suppliers information. Everything would get filtered out based on your selection in the filter. So if they're interested in another supplier, they'll go and select. But the actions concept is different. On the chart itself, you are selecting it and you are changing the other charts. Now there is a concept of actions. If I go to dashboard, actions. Now let me remove whatever is there here. Now you would see there is add action. There are three different types of actions we can do. Today we will look at this filter action. Select filter and you give any name. Let's say I want to give a table to all. I want to make it table to all. And you would see source and target. That means this is a from and this is to, and I am in US Superstore, right? Now, from where do you want the action source to start? That is the source. I want to start it from this supplier, right? Where is this supplier? This. So, what will be my source basically? My source will be this table because I want to click on this. Then, what should happen is my target. Apart from this table, all other sheets should get drilled down, should get filtered accordingly. Everyone got their source and target. Basically, where the user needs to click, and that is the source. I want to click on this, then the filter should work. What are the target? All the other sheets. Now run action on. There are three different options. Let me select this select today and do OK and do OK. Now see what will happen. And let me remove that previous option use as filters. Okay, if I'm selecting, okay, what has happened? Dashboard actions. Okay, that got deleted. Let me add once again. I'm saying, okay, I want to build an action from table to all the charts. I would say player, all the charts. I would say select, do okay. It will get added. Action will get added. Now, if I select, you see all other charts are getting. So it could be like you're writing some kind of, if you want to do the same thing in HTML pages or some kind of JavaScript, you need to write some code, right? If I click on this, something should happen, right? But here you see it's pretty much easy. You just have to define the source and the target. It will be done. Now, this particular action, when I'm clicking on this, it is changing one, two, three, four, five different charts. Now, what if I want only to change this? What should I do? I don't want to drill down to all other sheets, but I want an action to be performing from this table to this. What should I do? Any guesses? Yeah, in target, because my source is same, but the target, I don't want all these five sheets, I only want one sheet. So what I'll do, Dashboard actions, you will find the action which you have already created, double click on it, and you unselect the ones which you don't want. So it will only filter this. Now, can you all tell me, I want to build a new action from this to all other sheets except this table, except these two. I want to filter all other sheets. What should I do now? I'll go to dashboard. I'll start building a new action, right? Because this action, it will start from this table. Source is this table. Now I want source as this customer segment. I'll go to add action filter, which is the customer segment this sheet. I'll unselect everything and I'll unselect the source because it should not happen that okay you are selecting customer segment in the source as well as target. No, right? I also don't want that table. I don't want to go back and filter. Do this, select OK. Now what will happen? See, if I select Sony, it is filtering. Yeah, yeah. Second action is also based on first action, right? Because if you when you are doing the first action, all the data is getting filtered out. On top of that, you're building another action and selecting corporate, then the other charts are filtering it on corporate. But all this data is only for Sony, right? So on top of it, it is applying it. Got it. Otherwise, it will be a problem if you don't have that feature because we will not be sure. Okay, this data is of which supply, right? The action needs the drill down should be from top to bottom. Understood this? Any questions you have? So in the interview, they might ask, okay, what is an action? What would you say? Yeah, you can do the second action also. It depends on your requirement. You don't want to do it from supply, you want to do it from segment, do it. That's fine. But you would see that, it's up to us. While building it, it's up to us, you know, from where to where you want to build those actions. It's basically, we are enhancing, we are, making it flexible for drilling down to the minute things. Okay, in the interview, they ask, what is actions? What would you say? Anyone, any guesses? Basis on what you have understood today, you would say, yeah, anyone?
Actions can be used to customize data as per the requirement and to perform different actions and show what we need to present to the client regarding the
Correct.
uh, different as per the data. I mean, we want to perform
Right,
the
right.
different.
Yeah. So the shorter answer is, yeah, what you said is right, Pooja. You can say, actions enables us to show the drill downs in the data to the users. So it's this concept is nothing but a drill down, right? We are selecting one thing, other thing is changing. We are selecting the other thing, the few other things are changing. We are selecting the third thing, few other things are changing, right? So when you want to have, the drill down effect, when you want the user, if this is the problem, okay, if my sales are, declining, my sales are declining. Now you build those different charts, but you want to go to the detail. Okay, if my sales are declining, can you tell me if I click on, sales are declining in refrigerator, let's say. I select refrigerator here. But on that refrigerator, the sales are down. Can you show me, okay, how is it doing in all the countries? Okay, if I select particular country, let's say, United States, can you tell me, okay, how is it performing in different states in US? I'll select United States, it will filter for all the states within US. If I look at, particular state which I want to focus on, I select state, it should show all the cities or zip codes within that United States. So you can give this example. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to drill down in a different way by using these actions. Okay, now there are some other concept in actions also. So what we will do is we will continue this topic tomorrow, and tomorrow we will do some hands-on as well on these actions. Yeah, but I will be uploading that my resume thing. So you want to build this resume in Tableau. Okay, so start working on that. And as I said, on Friday I'll be giving, a couple of more projects as well. So please, spend some time, try to complete this on time, because as we move forward, you'll be getting some more projects. It will be tough for you to complete it. Okay, you can spend this weekend good amount of time. Okay, so let us continue this actions topic tomorrow, and then we will do some hands-on exercises. Okay, so we will end for today. Thank you. Have a great day.